bring me a tea or another coffee, but...
Alright, we should be live right now. Hopefully it is going off pretty decent.
Am I centered?
Yeah, it's real tiny and small, so it doesn't matter.
I'm centered. I have found my center. It's here, with the tummy.
Namaste.
Nothing? Tough crowd tonight, Jesus.
Sorry, I'm checking
Nothing?
everything out. There was a lot of changes to Twitch and a lot of changes to XSplit, so I'm like making sure everything's going okay.
Yeah, I gotta F5 this and see if this will load up and maybe give us some audio. Oh, a commercial! Awesome!
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a commercial too. So
Is this, I have our logo up on my screen wide open, but mine's just been kind of doing this the whole time. I've already seen my commercial, so...
yeah, it looks like what it is. That's what it's going right now.
I'm looking at the chat right now. So if my face is off screen like this way, it's because that's where the chat is for me.
Yeah, it looks like Twitch is having issues.
Yeah? So is all of this stuff just last week's comments?
Volume all sounds
No.
pretty good to me, so... I had to
Can
mute it
you
'cause
see
it was
us?
loud. Yep.
Alright.
ADT, we are trying to go live.
Cathy's not centered, but she's not centered, so it's...
So, yeah,
No,
I'm not doing
I'm
anything.
purposefully, yeah. I'm reading the comments, and so if I'm reading the comments, I have to go this way if I want to see them.
So
You need a bigger monitor then. You need like one of those wall monitors, just like...
I need like a second monitor over here. That would make my life perfect. Well, better. Not perfect.
Not perfect, but better. Alright, I show we're going.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I show we're online.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to do a couple of refreshes. So if anybody says they can't see us, tell them to do some refreshes.
Seems good to me.
Alright, can you hear us pretty good? How do
I
we sound,
could
John?
before I muted it because you guys were loud.
Yeah.
Us loud?
Oh, thank you for reminding me that I need to... Actually, I still have just the logo. I don't have anything playing. Hold on.
Let's see.
As a matter of fact, I would
I
say
need to refresh.
my audio
Refresh.
sounds like the worst.
We got Ray Bomb Crimson and Maxim DT. Guys, if you can hear us, we sound okay. Please let us know. That way we can do it. There was a lot of changes that were done, and we're making sure everything works pretty decent.
Gonzo changed everything. It's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Blame
Everything's my
Gonzo.
fault, by the way.
Hashtag blame Gonzo. I'm making that our next thing.
Hashtag blame Gonzo. Alright, so we're going to do something, John. Make sure we got some good sound. So, alright, I'm going to go through a couple of things to see if you can hear it, alright?
Sound.
The Jormungand.
Wow.
We're going through some quick sound checks and everything, guys, because a lot of stuff just went crazy. And they've changed up a bunch of things. And so we're just doing some quick changes to stuff.
It's gonna be huge.
Why is there a hand puppet?
Okay, we can go back. Need a star wipe. Alright guys, we're going to be back on the PreRamble. Thanks for going with us. If people can't say that you can see us or anything, just make sure to tell them refresh. Hopefully everything sounds good. Everybody seems to have a good
everything
time.
sounded good. Everything looked good.
Good. So let's go and start talking about something that I'm really interested in, and I know that Cathy got like super done, and I'm kind of jealous. Cathy, what'd you do this afternoon?
So, I went to the Adepticon meeting, as I often do, because I'm part of the staff. And so, after our agenda for the meeting was done, we had a guy from Asmodee North America's coordinator for demonstrations come and do demos of Star Wars Legion. So I got to actually play Star Wars Legion, which was
I have
freaking
to ask,
awesome.
do you remember his name?
Matt?
Okay.
I don't remember his last name. He was Matt.
Just checking. I know a bunch of people in a bunch of different areas, so.
Yeah. So Asmodee North America, and I'm not well, he was wearing the Fantasy Flight Games polo, so Fantasy Flight Games, and
Yeah,
they're based in Minnesota. So I don't know if he came
Minnesota.
from the frozen white north, but it's probable.
They import game designers occasionally and such.
Yeah, he could have been Minnesotan. I didn't discuss it. We were just too busy having fun, throwing down Empire versus Rebels, and I really enjoyed it. The game mechanics were a lot of fun. I was kind of skeptical of the whole bendy ruler, as people call it, where it's a ruler. They're halfway through. There's a hinge in it so that it can pivot, one way or the other. And they have 3 different distance ranges. And so you have 1 range, 2 range, and 3 for distance. And that's what those are for. So depending on what kind of unit you have, you can go, obviously my stormtroopers could go range 2 for distance. My speeder bikes had to take an obligatory free movement of range 3 every turn. So I had to be very careful with them because you can run off the board with them on accident, which is they're gone. It's not good. So you have to really be aware of, where your speeder bikes are and where they're going to go on their next movement. I did not play. Oh, now I've got the whirly. I didn't play the Rebels, so I can speak more towards the Empire. But the mechanics is that you're alternating units. Like, I'll play a unit if I have initiative, and then you're playing a unit. And then I'm playing a unit, and then you're playing a unit. And there are these, like, tactical cards. Now, I don't remember what they're called because, I'm not good at the technical jargon. But, so there's these cards that you and your opponent both have. And there's, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. And you can look through them and make a choice. Kind of like choosing, what direction you're going to go in one of the piloting games. So you can make a choice. And my choice for my turn was Assault, which has got 3 initiative dots, which means I'm slower. But I have 3 tactical tokens that I can apply to 3 different units of my choice. And the other guy, he chose a different card, which was, 1 initiative point, which means that he gets to go first. Or was 2 initiative points. Anyways, he gets to go first before me, because mine was 3 initiative points and his was 2. So the lowest goes first. But he got to apply 2 tactical tokens, to units of his choice. So while he could go first, which is fine with me because I kind of like to react to the other guy's first turn, I'm like, fine, go first. I don't care. He had 1 unit that he could choose to immediately activate, or he could take the tokens. So I'm describing this. I'm not good at describing games. I'll tell you that right now. So
there is an article on FFG's website called Orders from High Command. You can find it if you go through Star Wars Legion. That gives a good basic idea of how this all works.
It was.
So was it unit by unit? I played a unit. You played a unit. I played a unit. You played a unit. Okay.
Yeah. So there were the ones that have the tactical tokens that you can activate whenever it's your turn. You can choose to activate one of those, or you can pick a random token. Because as I said with Assault, I had 3 tokens that I could apply, place on units of my choice. So I could, activate my speeder bikes if I wanted to, or I could pick a random token, which might be my leader, which was Darth Vader in this case, so that I could activate him. But I just stuck with the ones that I already knew I could activate immediately. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
Now, did you get to, how was the best put it? Play any other characters besides Darth Vader?
So we just did one game where I played the first turn. Me and this other guy played the first turn, and then we switched off to some other people playing the second turn, and then they switched off to some other people playing a third turn. So everybody could kind of get a turn in because it's a tabletop war game. It doesn't take just a half an hour to play, so everybody gets in on it. And it was like a demo game, but it was a little more in depth, I think, because everybody was kind of experienced tabletop gamers. I really enjoyed the mechanics of it, though. I was surprised, and there were a lot of, because I have played bolt action, and my husband plays bolt action, and we talk about it. There were some similarities between those, like the alternate turn units. Well, in this, it's alternating each one, whereas in bolt action, it's your drawing, and so I could play 3 units in a row before you play your next unit, but it's still kind of, there are random units that you don't know what you're going to activate. Is it going to be infantry? Is it going to be a support unit? You don't know.
What about dice rolling? How quickly was it to like hit and then damage and then have the opponent? Do they get saves through the armor, or is it once they hit they're dead?
They get saves.
Okay.
It's similar to X-Wing in that way, where you're rolling your 8-sided dice to damage, and they are rolling. I think exclusively. I saw that it was 6-sided. I may not be right, but I think it was 6-sided dice always to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people, like there were some rebel units that had surge, which for defense. So if they surge on defense, it's a success. But if they surge on attack, I think it might not be, depending on which unit it is. Like all my units had where if I roll a surge on attack, it counts as a hit. But I don't get any special bonus if I roll surge on defense. It's just it's a miss.
Did it move pretty fast? Did it seem like it flowed really well?
Yeah. It was really fast. I mean, we had a professional there, kind of, if we had questions, he was answering them, so we didn't have to go look it up in the rules. And he had an app on his iPad so that he could look rules up. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to be releasing in the future, an app that people can have for it. So.
Did you see like points values of models, like how much it costs to bring some of these troopers?
No.
Didn't bring anything like that.
I had no idea about the point values. Sorry.
What? Because it says like they're saying units, so I was wondering if like a unit consisted of so many models. About how many models were on the board?
The unit was a commander and 4 guys.
Oh, okay. So
each
small.
unit has a commander, and then there were like 4 guys, and one of them had a heavy weapon. So, like, one of them had some kind of rocket launcher, and 2 of my other 2 stormtrooper units had I don't know what it was. It was some heavy, long-range rifle thing. It did more damage. That's all I know.
Probably a light repeating blaster rifle.
I'm like a machine gun, but I know that's wrong.
No, it is like an energy machine gun. That's exactly the best way of putting it. It's a squad support weapon. I mean, it's pretty standard, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, and I learned that the speeder bikes are more like light cavalry, so you don't want to charge them into the center of the board. They're, you want to use it kind of for flanking on the perimeter, maybe.
But how many models?
Those guys got wrecked.
But how many models on each side did you play with?
So I had 3 units of regular troops, which were the stormtroopers, and there were like 5 guys in each. And I had 2 units of 2 speeder bikes each. And then my leader, which is Darth Vader. And the other guy had 3 units of rebels, just infantry, with leaders, or with commanders. And he had 2 ATRT, I don't know.
ATST?
They're the walkers. Kind of like AT-ATs.
Rebels, they're ATRTs.
Whatever, yeah. So they had those, but each one of those was an individual unit in and of itself. And they had better weapons than my speeders. So they decimated them.
Now,
But now that I know what speeders do, I would play it very differently. So
Maximum DT's got a really good question. How are the minis plastic-wise?
I wasn't certain, and the guy who was demoing it, he didn't have to put it together. He's just demoing, so he wasn't sure exactly what kind of plastic it is, but it kind of looked like that rustic kind of plastic rather than the PVA kind of PVA. The gray plastic we're used to, like with Games Workshop or Malifaux. So super glue and not plastic cement, sadly. But he said all the guys are off the sprue. They're like cut off the sprue already. So I don't know. I guess you just glue them to the base. I'm not really
Probably
sure how
similar
those
quality to their stuff for their other games. I mean, which is pretty solid.
I just know they're not pre-painted, so you have to paint them. But
yeah, well, that's cool because I would rather. I mean, I don't. If I'm going to get into this, I'm definitely going to go with Empire, and I think I want to do like paint my Stormtrooper units up different. So one unit would be the standard Stormtrooper armor, and then I'd have like the camo unit, or then a black unit, and then probably like a desert unit and stuff like that. Anyway,
that'd be cool. Unless of course they have. Oh, I'm sorry, John. What?
No, I was just saying, like the Shore Troopers that never got seen much in the Rogue One.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I thought that those were like the SS of stormtroopers, like the veteran stormtroopers. But so I don't know, maybe they'll have those available as a box set for this game. It seems like they should.
Now the rulers that you had to use, the bendy rulers, did you use that for all models?
That was for distance only, like for how far your guy travels. So for movement, basically. The bendy ones were only for movement. The ones for range, for shooting, were different.
Okay.
And those are modular, so you can snap them together. Like you can have the 6-inch, and then you add another 6 inches, and another 6 inches. But like for Stormtrooper and Rebels both, I think it was 3. 3 was the range. So instead of inches, it's just, short range, medium range, long range, or whatever. So we had the stick. It was, if it's 3 range, you have 3 segments on your range stick, and you just hold it out from your leader. And that's the other thing is you're measuring from your leader. It doesn't matter how many guys are in your unit, and it doesn't matter where the other guys are in your unit. It's only where the leader is that counts. So if your leader is within range of the target, that's the only thing that matters for shooting.
My question is, when you line these up, because I can see like some of the bases have notches in them, and some of the bases and the measuring sticks. Like whenever you moved your guy, did you put the measuring stick in front of that guy and then move that guy to there at the end? So it's sort of like X-Wing in a way?
The only ones that have notches in the bases are the vehicles, like the speeders did and the ATRTs did. And that's because they face a certain way, and they have a firing arc. And the infantry doesn't have that at all.
It sounds a lot more like Armada, with the vehicles being more like the capital ships and the dudes being more like the fighter squadrons.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I haven't played Armada. I've only played X-Wing, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, that sounds about right.
Did you have to keep the troops? Did you have to keep them in a certain radius of each other? Or like
as long as they are within one movement range of the leader, they can go anywhere. Like within one movement range. So once you move the leader, you could just stack all the rest of your guys around him. However,
okay. So if you take I'm just asking. So if you take the leader and he's going to move, you measure where the leader's going to move, and then you just move everybody around the leader.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And same with my speeder bikes, which are a vehicle. There was one that was the leader, and then the other one was just, one of the grunts. So the leader moves, and then the other speeder bike just goes wherever within one distance of him.
Okay. So whenever you pulled, when my models died, Did you pull them off from anywhere, or did you pull them off from ones that they could shoot?
You just pull them off from anywhere. I mean, obviously, you're saving your commander for last and your
Yeah.
heavy weapon for second to last. Otherwise, they're just grunts, and you're just pull them off from wherever in that unit.
Okay. That's why I was kind of curious if it would. Someone could snipe out your unit leader, and then you were, toast. Which I wouldn't think so because
No,
everybody's getting away
there's
from
not
that.
a called shot like that. No.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What about how many wounds? Now, individual guys have, I'm guessing, one wound. How many wounds did like the speeder bike and all that have? Did you see?
Oh, I think those had 3. I want to say. Darth Vader had 8. The ATRTs had 6. So yeah. So you got to whittle them down. Like I shot with a whole unit of stormtrooper. No, I shot with my 2 speeder bikes at the ATRT, and I did 3 damage. I did 2 damage and 1 crit. But they have I forget what it impact or something. They have they have armor. So the regular hits automatically miss because they have armor, but the crit goes through. So I did 1 damage out of 3 hits to them, or to that one guy.
So do you think that you could just take Darth Vader? He could actually go up and start kicking the crap out of people.
Absolutely. He's really slow, though. He is 1 distance, and you have 2 actions. So I can move him, and then I can move him again, which gets me 2 distance away from where he was. He's like the slowest guy on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But once he gets into hand-to-hand combat, he's brutal. He's got all kinds of skills that way.
But, okay, so you've got, just an example, you've got your unit of stormtroopers or rebels, and they're all in front, and Darth Vader walks up. Does Darth Vader affect the entire unit, or only who he's in base-to-base with, or within his melee distance? Did you know?
So, it wasn't my thing when Darth Vader actually got into the action, sadly, because pizza came and I was distracted.
Because pizza.
Because pizza.
Right? So, I did not see how Darth Vader was acting, sadly. I just know that he was a monster once he got into close combat, and he got into close combat with Luke Skywalker himself. So, I did see Luke Skywalker take out a speeder bike on his own and then wound the other speeder bike in that unit. So he is also devastating in hand-to-hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't see how Darth Vader affects the units around him. I didn't think he did because there was a unit of guys that had suppression, which is kind of like pinning in other war games. So that unit had taken fire and they were suppressed. They had a suppressed token. And then they took fire a second time before they could rally. So they had 2 suppressed tokens. And they failed their rallying roll, which is I think that's the D6, and you just need you have like a 1 in 3 chance of succeeding in that, and they failed. So they got a panic token and had to run backwards like 2 distance, I think. I could be wrong, but I think he was 2 distance. Yeah, opposite direction. And Darth Vader was right next to them, and he didn't seem to do anything for them. So,
what about terrain? Did y'all have a lot of terrain or talk about terrain?
There's a lot of terrain, and
Good.
as everyone by now must know, I love playing games with a lot of terrain. So I was very happy. So Matt recommended that if you take a quarter of the table, whatever size table you're playing on, and fill that quarter of the table with terrain, that's how much terrain you need. And then you just spread it out across the whole table.
I like a lot of terrain.
So we had like 3 big buildings. We had a bunch of containers. We had a few little kind of little wall sections. But guys could, see over those. So those were light. There's some heavy cover. There's some light cover. Light cover will subtract 1 hit. Like if I roll my dice and you're in light cover, I have to take away 1 of my hits. If you're in heavy cover, I have to take away 2 of my hits.
Did terrain affect movement, as in not going around it, but going through it? Like if you're going to go through some forest, did you see that?
Speeder bikes can go over terrain that is height 1, and that's another thing the measuring the range sticks go.
Mm-hmm.
So your 1 segment of the range sticks is 1 height
of terrain. That's
cool.
Of
terrain. So I could, with speeder bikes, go over any of that stuff. So there's only 1 building that was taller than a 1 terrain that they couldn't go over if they wanted to. I suppose they could land on top of it if it was the right shape, where you're not going to just, dump your model over.
Yeah. So overall, what did you think about it?
I really enjoyed it a lot. If I had lots of money, I would get 2 core boxes, because Matt recommended that if you want to play a nice, fun game like the size that we were playing, you get 2 core boxes. You might have a couple units left over, but you would have enough to field what we were playing with. But if you just had 1 core box, you would have less than what we were playing with.
So definitely a share with your friend if you find someone that's going to play the opposite of you.
Yep.
Each get a box. I'm like, all right, I'll give you my rebels, you give me your troopers.
Yep, that's what it. And they've got other stuff that they're gonna have too. Like he was telling me, they've got. Now I don't remember the name of the walker or vehicle, or it's like a troop transport kind of thing, but it's gonna be like, I don't know, a foot tall maybe.
Looks like the,
I think the model
ATST.
What's that?
The ATST. I'm looking on their website, and it shows
Yeah,
that they're
maybe, yeah.
The ATST, and then there's going to be the airspeeder coming out.
Oh yeah, you had an airspeeder, or
Snow
what do you
speeder.
call it? Yes.
Yes, we call them snow speeders. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, he had one of those there. He just had it there to show us, that wasn't in the game at all. So, but it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I will absolutely play this again. If somebody says, "Here, Cathy, Merry Christmas. Here's a core box," I'd be down with that.
So you didn't get to see like how to build an army or point values or anything like that on the models. Oh, there you
go. Are you back?
Yeah, that was weird.
At Adepticon, Dave Powles and Damon Drescher are going to do a seminar for kind of beginner tabletop war gamers who are doing Legion, do kind of a how-to paint their models.
But you didn't see anything that was like point values or how to build an army is this many points or this many units or anything like that?
No. Sorry, okay. No. I didn't. It was a demo. It was demos. So we didn't get to see all the cool list building rules and stuff.
Maxim DT says, what kind of legs do you think the good game could have? Where does it expand due to its scale? Do you think it could get pretty big?
I imagine so, because all they had here was just stormtroopers and like rebels that looked like Endor rebels, So I can easily see them doing. Now I know he mentioned this was Luke Skywalker, like Empire Strikes Back kind of Luke Skywalker. So like right before he gets his hand cut off.
Yep.
Or there could be like Return of the Jedi kind of Luke Skywalker, Farm Boy Luke Skywalker. He mentioned, and I don't know if he was just joking about Farm Boy Luke Skywalker's capabilities or what.
I believe his official title is Cracker Farm Boy Luke Skywalker.
Cracker Farm Boy.
He's really good at hitting womp rats.
He used to bullseye him in C-47 back home.
Right?
They're not much bigger than 2 meters. I mean, shit.
Well, so far it sounds actually...
So yeah, I mean, he could destroy a Death Star in theory.
Well, he kind of has the Force.
That's what I'm interested in.
Going for him.
Is how badass characters are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could easily see their I don't know, but doesn't it make sense where there could be a Princess Leia leader or a Han Solo leader or a Tarkin leader or, who are the other bad guys? I don't know.
General Tag and all those guys.
Yeah,
Bodhi.
so why would they not make more that, that come in the prequel kind of movie theme and more that come in, what's coming up like this Friday?
Oh yeah,
That's true. That's true.
You could have. I mean, there's so much they could do. They could do different Jedi's. Let Darth Maul take a little run for his money. You name it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Why wouldn't he be a leader for the, for the Empire?
All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and shut down for a minute and come back up with the full episode. So go get your drinks, go pee, and we'll be back in about 1 minute.
Well, I don't have to pee.
Yeah, but I do.